Maybe.
I'm going to throw it.
Great. It may happen yet tonight.
Really going to throw it.
Ugh. So the other day it went out in the middle of a class. So it was just.
I feel your pain, brother.
We was on with Boz and I had the whole group on there and it went out. It's like, and then you got to go reset everything and everything has to sign back in. I mean, it's not just a little process of getting back in. So hello and welcome everybody. It's going to be one of those nights. So we are getting ready to push into the next week of fasting. So we're trying to see, is everybody's chemistry ready? I want to go through, how do you know you're ready when you feel like you're ready or when you don't? We're going to go through and figure it out. So we're going to get there.
My chronometer and my
Hang on. There we go. Yep, got another one. Hang on. We got another one. Okay.
They look like they're frozen.
I was going to say they froze up too. All right, everybody. So we're going to get going, talk about everybody's chemistry. I want to know how you're doing. Are you doing a clean fast? Are you doing the sardine challenge again? Everybody's chemistry can do one or the other. So it's, if you're keto and you're under 20 carbs, you're ready to go. If you're fat adapted, you are ready to go clean and go push for the 72 and always can finish it out with the sardine challenge. So that part's always neat. It's a nice little tool she's developed that if you think you can't make it to a 72, use the sardines for that. Prove yourself you're going to survive and you won't die. So that is going to be where we're at. I am pushing into 72. This is going to be I've only done a couple clean ones since, I don't even know when. It's been a long time. I've been struggling to get to the 72. So my goal is to get to the 72 completely clean, no MCT, no BHB, no nothing. I'm trying to push through it this time. I'm hoping I can make it. If I don't make it the complete 72 clean, I will finish it out with sardines, and I don't like sardines. So I'm going for the 72 clean. So that is where I'm at. Jump in.
I'm doing 72 straight. So we'll see.
He's doing it. So. All right, Olivia, come and jump in. I know you're killing it and doing great. So come and fill everybody in on you while Linda and Rob get signed back in.
Yes. So this Sunday, I started the 72-hour fast with a can of sardines mixed in with mackerel, because you mentioned that you like mackerel a little bit better than sardines. I had never had mackerel before, so this was my first time.
Goes down easier for me.
So I mixed them together and just put like maybe less than half a tablespoon of that primal mayo. Nice. And just like a teaspoon, barely a teaspoon of dill relish, and just kind of mix those all up. And it went down.
You don't sound thrilled at all.
As long as it went down, that's all it matters, and stayed down. That's all that matters. So as long as
it's funny because normally when I eat a regular meal, I try not to look at electronics and all, just kind of savor the flavors of the meat and all that I eat. But when I do sardines, I have to be watching a video or something.
You might totally get your head somewhere else. I'm with you. See, I'm not the only one. You got to do something, talk about something, get your mind off of things and get them down. But again,
and then it goes down and then I'm fine. I don't irp them up. I don't, but that's the challenge. It's just getting it down. And then the rest of the time until Wednesday, I'll be doing just a water and salt. And then on Wednesday, I'll end it with sardine again.
Yep. That's exact protocol I'm doing. Olivia, tell everybody what your DBR is today.
Oh, this morning it was 18.
Wow.
I just want to say, when you get discouraged and you wonder if your chemistry will ever kick in and do this, she is at an 18, and she was just on a vacation 2 weeks ago, week ago.
A week and a half ago, yeah.
She is just getting back. And the cool part of this is she is a veteran. So she's done this a few times. She knows how to come home, go from a vacation. I mean, we're talking Peru, anniversary, all kinds of stuff that she was dealing with, flights, all that kind of stuff. She come back and she knows exactly how to use it as a tool and to get back on track. And within 2 weeks, she has a DBR of 18. So I just take that as a total win of when you learn how to juggle your chemistry, it's a win for the rest of your life. That's what makes this a lifetime process, it's not a 21-day kick. It's not just when you feel like it, but this is how you build health on a daily basis all the time. So Olivia, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Goals right there, people. Goals. That truly is. So Robin, Linda, you're back. Come and check in.
Good job, Olivia.
Yes. Nice work. No, we lost them now. Where'd they go?
There they are.
There you are.
Still having technical difficulties.
Now you're muted.
Hit that button because it'll pop up to them.
No mute pop up. Unmute pop up.
Oh my goodness. He's going to throw it tonight.
It's going to hit the wall.
Yeah, it's going to hit the wall.
Come on in, Wayne, while they work on it. Come on in, Wayne.
There it went.
There they are again. Come on in, Wayne, while they get it figured out. Jump in, guys, when you get it up.
I am doing a sardine challenge. I started last night with, yesterday afternoon, maybe about 1 o'clock, I had a couple burger patties. And then about 5 o'clock last night, I started with a can of sardines. So taste doesn't bother me that much, but I did today at lunchtime, I did a can of mackerel and a can of sardines, and I could see where the mackerel is a lot more palatable for people. So I would really encourage trying that if you just have a real aversion to sardines. My numbers last week when I did it improved quite a bit. And I guess I'm hoping for the same this time. I did hit a little bit of a milestone this week. I do weigh myself weekly. And when I started this process 2 Augusts ago, now I was 252.4. And Sunday I weighed in at right on 200.6.
Woo!
Yeah.
I need to get 0.6 of a pound to be under 200. I couldn't tell you the last time that happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was quite a motivator.
Good.
Heck yeah.
So just in the last month, I lost about 6 pounds. So
Nice.
I went a couple months where I was just kind of treading water. And I think that's a good motivator for people, that you do go through things in seasons. And sometimes treading water is a win.
Exactly.
You're not drowning.
You know? Yeah, you're not going off the rails. You're not throwing an extra 20 pounds back on. So you got to take it for what it's worth. We're not in this for a competition. It's just working your way through it. I don't get DBRs of 18. When my DBR gets under 100, which it does with doing these sardine fasts, that's a win. Now, maybe if I, continue to lose and I, clean up some of the glucose stores that I still am hanging on to, I'll get to that point. But you can't look at somebody's 18 and say, well, I'll never get there. It doesn't matter what other people's numbers are. You got to look at them compared to yourself. You got to keep records, whether that's on a notebook or a spreadsheet, a graph, or whatever. You got to look at your own numbers and compare today to what you were yesterday, a month ago, a year ago.
Yep,
Absolutely. And anybody that, if you're haven't followed Wayne's story, he's amazing. So when you're looking at, yes, his number may not get down to that 18, but he knows how to do the chemistry, and he does it steady. He does it slow and steady and just keeps going, and he keeps building health. And where he started from diabetic range a couple years ago, he has now reversed all that, and he's turning it around. And yes, his body goes slower. He's insulin resistant, but most of us are. But it's a win to see just the differences in the two of them. Wayne is succeeding at his journey. Olivia is succeeding at hers. Two separate journeys, same process. So once you learn to read your chemistry and know how to do this, you apply it to whatever level your health is at. And then you stay consistent in that. Whatever that is, you staying consistent in that is what's going to build your health for the future. So good job, Wayne. Nice work.
Mm-hmm.
Nice work.
But good point. I like that point, because you guys are so different, but
Yeah.
you're still on the same
Success on
journey,
both of
and
you.
success in spades for both of you. And that's cool about the way we do things.
And I think, again, that's the win of learning to do the chemistry right and read your body. And you're going to be able to apply it at whatever level you're at, whatever stage of life. When life kicks you in the gut and you got to back up or hold space or just tread water, you're not going backwards into the ditch all the way. You are still succeeding. So don't look at it as a fail. It's a win the whole way around. It truly is. So. Linda, Rob, come on in, Olivia, if you want to jump in.
I just wanted to say that the key word in what you said just a minute ago is consistency, because you're right. Even though I can get my DVR down to 18, it's taken many years to get there. And I still have health issues that still need to be reversed, or improved, like osteopenia and fatty liver and those kind of things. So consistency. And I think if I had maintain that consistency with being keto as much as possible, I would have been able to heal some of those things at this point. And so I think it's real important to stay consistent. So I applaud you, Wayne, for doing that. So
Yep.
Absolutely. Very good point.
Yep. Wait, Rob, are you ready? Is you waiting for her to come back?
I'm waiting for her to come back now.
Okay.
Yeah, daughter called. Our daughter, she goes on a fishing trip, an overnight trip, and we've known it since March, but her boyfriend was going to propose on this trip. So they're talking about it right now.
Okay,
So.
go take your phone
Go
call.
enjoy.
We can wait. All right, Helen, who wants to come check in? Are you there, Helen?
I was going to turn out a light, but I'm not going to.
Well, come in and say hi. Tell everybody how you're doing. You're doing so
Hey,
good.
I'm doing good. I blew myself away with my numbers last week because I sardine. My husband was gone. So I went on and did the sardine challenge from Monday to Friday.
Good deal.
And then I've eaten, and I was going to, so I need a little bit of help with it. I was going to start tonight. I just drank my half a cup of bone broth.
Mm-hmm.
And we ate at 2:00 this afternoon. So I'm just wondering if I should wait and have sardines in the morning or eat a can now.
If you think you're okay, hold off till the morning because it's getting kind of late to eat now.
Yeah.
So if you can and you think you're fine, then I'd hold off and eat sardines again and just eat them as early in the day as you can.
Okay.
And finish up.
All right. Well, Tammy knows I was trying to make bone broth, and I had chicken thighs and chicken feet. So fortunately, I put the chicken feet in the bottom. And then I put the thighs, 8 thighs on top of those in an Instant Pot and ran it through the 4-hour cycle and gently lifted out the chicken thighs. It was so simple to get the meat and the skin off. And I threw the bones and the skin back in.
Yep.
And I'm wondering, Tammy, at this point, but you can wait till the end to tell me. I'm wondering, the bones were brittle enough, I think, that I could have broken.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've not done this before. I ran it through another 240 cycle.
Yep. That's what,
And
when
then
I keep them going. Yep.
I ran it through another one. I did 3. So I was up and down all night. I can't even start laundry to run when I'm going to go to sleep because there's something going on in the back of my mind. So I just, so I actually ran it through 3. I thought you only did it once.
Well, I mean, you can do it one time. I just look at it again. I'm cheap and frugal and all that. So I want to get every darn bit of nourishment out of those bones. So that's but I'm home all day. So I just leave it simmer on my stove for days, like 5 days. So it literally just stays
And
at a simmer. It's
we're not Instapot. We're a big 20 quart pot on the stove.
2 of those.
Yeah.
So I just fill them all the way up and make, 40 quarts at one time, but I just let it keep simmering. So good job. So if you're using the Instapot, just keep turning it back on. And I look at it, if I can break those bones with my fingers, then that means all those nutrients are in that bone broth for me. So then just strain them when you get them out, strain everything out of it, jar them up, and just know it freezes perfect. So don't worry about freezing it or anything. If you then just bring out what you can use at a time or a week
Right.
or whatever. And it's great. Good
So
job.
go ahead and break up the bones after the first time.
Well, you don't have to break them up. Just literally check them and see. That's how I test when they're done.
Half and half or something.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking that would let more stuff out as it goes through the second and third.
Yep.
Turn it back on.
And even like the bigger ones that we'll have, like with bone marrow, I'll literally pull them out and take a spoon and scrape the marrow out. And so all those nutrients are getting into the broth. And then I use a thicker cheesecloth to do it. So it's not straining out those little bits of marrow. It looks like those little dirt flecks in it, but
Okay.
I want that marrow to stay. So I don't use a real fine sieve. I use a cheesecloth where it lets a little bit of that stuff through.
You want to catch the bigger particles out of it, like, the bone particles and that kind of thing, but you want to let the marrow particles go through to get into your bone broth. You don't want to filter it. You don't want to super filter it, because you're going to filter out half of the stuff that you want in there.
Oh,
Good
okay.
job.
Well, I used 1 layer of cheesecloth, and I got 23 half-cup containers out of it.
Nice. Good job, Helen. That's awesome. And what that's going to do, she's working on gut health. She's working on that gut permeability. She's working on a lot of things that homemade bone broth, it's too easy to make. It's too cheap and easy, and it's so much better than anything you're going to go buy in a store. So just put the work into it. It's worth the effort. Helen, tell us some of your numbers for the last couple of days.
Oh,
If you have them handy. I know.
yeah, I do right here on my trusty clipboard.
Helen's a list maker too, so she's got her paper ready.
I'm using DrBoz's ratio chart, and I'm on number 25 chart from when I started a year ago. Well, let's see. Let me just pick out a couple. Actually, I started on Monday. Well, Tuesday, even Monday, Monday, okay, Tuesday, because then I would have been on Monday I was. Okay, my blood sugar, I'm having a horrible time with my blood sugar. Even my PA that I see said last time she had no idea why my blood sugar keeps going up I've got all these numbers. So she said, I know you're being careful, but I had a 121 glucose, 2.3 and 52. And then on Thursday, well, the glucose was up. It was 139, but so were my ketones. I've never had 3.7 with a DrBoz ratio of 36. And Friday, 1:06 a.m. That's in the morning. Okay. So 113, a 3.5, and a DBR of 31. And Wayne, I loved what you said, because I was just frustrated about all of my numbers. And it was really, really good for me to hear, to just hang in there, because I'm running the race with myself.
Yep.
And so these are very unusual DBRs for me, but I'm really happy with them.
Good for you,
Helen. And just know I keep beating a dead horse here, but with your sleep not okay yet. When your sleep gets corrected and we get your CPAP machine figured out and things like that, your chemistry is going to change so much. You're fighting your own body. You're fighting your own brain, because you're not getting that deep sleep. And we need anybody that's never heard of that. One of the biggest things DrBoz says when somebody comes in to talk to her about weight loss, her first question is, how's your sleep? If you're not sleeping, you are not going to build that health. You're not getting that washing machine effect in the brain. You're not getting that low, getting that BDNF raised in the brain. You're not getting the chemical reaction in the brain that you need every day. So it's just really important to make sure that sleep is so important. And Helen's been struggling with that. So they're working. If you have a CPAP machine, you have sleep apnea, anything like that. And Philip, glad you made it, hun. Anything like that, make sure you are getting your sleep fixed first. And then we're going to worry about what her morning glucoses are, because if she gets her sleep fixed, those morning glucoses may come down. She may be high because her cortisol's high, sleep isn't good, all those things. We get everything else. She's got everything else checklist. Everything in her power to change, she's doing well, very well. So it's one of those, we got to wait for that sleep to get fixed so we can see if those glucose numbers in the morning come down. And then we'll be ready to push her to the next level. But Helen, I'm proud of you for holding space, not jumping off the rails, and just being consistent in what you're doing, even though you're getting great ketones, but knowing that morning glucose is high is rough. That's another thing of the consistency. That's how you're going to heal insulin resistant, is consistency to be able to keep that glucose coming down. So good job, Helen.
I did lose 29 pounds last year, and I read all these stories where, people have lost over 100 pounds. But I looked at it finally like, well, if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't be 29 pounds.
Yep.
Absolutely. And you wouldn't have a DBR that low either. I mean, you've got a DBR in the 30s. There's some of us that don't get a 30 DBR after 3 days of fasting. So you're getting there, Helen. You've just got to hold tight and hold space. And you are so right. You're only competing with yourself. So don't get discouraged. You are doing phenomenal. So I'm just proud of you for staying the course. Really good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Come on in, Pam. Come on in. Tell us how you're doing. Welcome.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I checked my numbers again today a couple of times, and I already uploaded it. Okay, let me find this. So my question had to do with, so my blood sugars come down some, and then, so this morning it was 138, and now it's 115. And then my ketones around almost 2 o'clock were 1.1, and now they're 1.0. So my DBR went up a little bit, and I feel a little bit wobbly. So
what was your ketones this morning? What was your glucose and ketone this morning?
138 and 0.8.
Okay. Okay, keep going.
So since you had mentioned in the 21 thingamajigger about, so my blood sugar came down, my ketones went up. So, and the ketones went from 1.1 to 1.0. I'm assuming that this probably isn't anything to be too concerned about.
No, because first of all, your afternoon readings, there's too much noise around it to try to diagnose anything, or not diagnose, but to plan out anything, because that could be depending on how much energy you've burned, how much, you've pulled out of storage, all those things. We need those morning numbers is what's going to matter so much. So if your morning one was 138 and 0.8, as long that glucose will come down, the faster that glucose comes down, the more those ketones will be able to raise. So are you doing a clean fast right now or a sardine?
I'm doing a clean fast. And since I'm accustomed to eating earlier, like at breakfast, yeah, I'm feeling it.
You feel okay. So if you're getting a little yucky right now, if this is tough time. We're in the evening of the first day. It's hard. This is where get your water. Another little trick, if anybody is struggling and you like something warm and yummy and you're just struggling with it, take a hot water. And I just even put, if you have oregano oil from doTERRA, the good oils, and put a little thing of doTERRA or a drop of oregano oil in your cup, or even just a pinch of oregano spice in your cup, little pinch of just a smidgen of garlic or something in it. When you smell that, you're going to feel like you're drinking warm bone broth or warm soup broth. And it's literally just hot water and salt. So hot, salty water with that little bit of spice in it, it makes you feel like you're getting that evening soup. So it's just a little mind game to play with yourself if you're struggling, but make sure your salt is in you. Make sure got a lot of water in you, hot or cold, just get the water in you, get sodium in you, because most of the things right now you're hitting. And if you have access to a float or do an Epsom salt bath tonight, anything like that you have access to, this is when you pull out all your tools. This is when you use the tools.
Okay, so one thing that has completely knocked me on my can
Okay.
was I know that in my intro there was a time period in my life where lots of things happened that sort of is the foundation to my food addiction.
Mm-hmm.
But one part of it surfaced today.
I'm sorry. Just know you're encircled with people that love you and care about you, and we're all on this journey with you. And get your journal out. If you need to call later, call. This is where we'll push through it and work through it for you, because you're doing this for the best of your health, and you're doing this to build a new future for you. You got to push forward. Don't let it derail you. Don't let it. Talk through it, work through it, journal through it.
Don't be afraid to reach out either.
Yeah. And reach out if you need us.
Even with us saying push throughing doesn't mean hold it in to yourself. That means reach out to people as well.
Man, my parents had kicked my older sister out when she was 15 and I was 14. And it hit me like a ton of bricks today.
Aw.
I have pictures of the two of us because we were the first two kids. And then once our younger sister was born, we turned into invisible. My older sister was a troublemaker. So anyway, when my dad just couldn't control her anymore, he got rid of her basically.
That's awful.
But she and I are estranged now just because she went so far off the deep end that anyway, but I never knew how much this bothered me, that my parents kicked her out. It's like I've been stuffing that down all these years. So this really took me by surprise.
Well, that's what, Pam, I know you work so hard on digging down. And when we talk about finding out your why, Dr. Boz says, put your best day and your worst day, and your why is somewhere in between there when you're digging in deep enough to get to that emotion. And Pam, first, I want to applaud you because you did dig deep enough. You are finding the things that have kept you down and struggling your whole life. So my hope for you and my prayer for you is that this is going to give you release, say the truth will set you free. Those kind of things are going to change your tomorrow. You're working on your health. You're making you a priority. You are doing all these things in God's love and protection, and work through it, pray through it, journal through it, and come out tomorrow, wake up tomorrow with a new, renewed you, and know that you are doing so much better. You're healing through it. You're working through it. And the future you're building is going to be so different than where you've been. It really is. So we're just proud of you, and we're all here for you. Really.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That stuff's not easy, but the beauty in what she's saying, when you dig your why up and you truly have a why that's that deep and that real, that's what's going to keep her going, because she's getting the brain health. She's getting her body health. She's going to be able to process where normally she would go curl up in a ball and let it control her. Now she's getting strong enough and she's able to control the issue and work through it this time, and maybe make it a step further than she used to be able to make. And if any of you haven't done the brains course, this is where that brain work comes into play. And it really does, as your brain starts to heal, but you've got to be able to get your body and brain into ketosis to do the work that the brain health needs. So Pam, I hope you can get in the brains course if you haven't done it already. It's just, I think it's the next step of everybody's healing journey, and you've got to be able to master this process, and then you're ready for the brain health. So anybody that wants in, let me know. I'm giving everybody, all my people, a big coupon to get you in the course that I'm getting ready to start. So, and it is Dr. Boz's actual course. I just go through it. We go through it one module at a time. So you can apply it, learn it, hear it, and figure out how it applies to your life. So we kind of do it a little bit slower just to help everybody get through it. So that code is JTK750. We'll take $750 off your fee. You just go to my website and sign in and use that code and it'll give you the discount. journeytoketo.com. And it's under courses and coaching or something like that.
Yep.
So, all right. Hey,
Pam, one
Pam,
more
hang in
thing.
there. Yeah.
One more thing, Pam, when if you're starting to feel a little fluttery or whatever with your glucose going down, those minerals are very important. It happened to my dad and it totally caught us off guard. But when you're starting into the fasting, those minerals are very important. You do not want to get dehydrated, because especially doing this a first couple times, it's very important to get it in you. So
Yep. Good job, Pam. Linda and Rob, are you up and ready?
Yes.
Let's see if we
Yes,
can do
we
this.
are.
Come on in, check in, tell us how you're doing.
You start. I'm still writing.
Doing
Thought you were
okay. Started the sardine challenge again yet last night. Just hanging in with that.
I can just eat them plain now. I just eat them plain, you know.
Yep.
Just,
So are you eating them in an open window or are you eating them with a closed window?
Within 4 hours.
Okay.
yeah.
How many cans are getting
Before-
in at 4 hours? Just one or two?
Sorry.
How many cans are you getting in that 4 hours?
For me,
Maybe a half.
yeah, maybe yeah.
Oh,
Well, I just don't have room.
okay. So when you eat any other time, are you still only able to eat a couple bites of anything, or is it just the sardines fill you up too fast?
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on if I'm having steak,
It's what did
well,
you
the other
have?
day
Like-
I had 3 ounces, but,
and she was stuffed.
and I was really stuffed, but, I usually eat between 1.5 and 2 ounces of steak.
Okay. So I guess I'm just saying, be mindful of if you can get that much steak in you, if you eat 2 ounces of steak, or, if you push to 3 ounces and you got that in you, just know then at least you have room for 3 ounces of sardines, or 3 ounces, if you're doing the challenge. And I know that's hard to push to, because yeah.
Well,
Right.
I did. I don't know why, but my body reacts differently to foods. Like chicken can be more of a problem than steak, which is silly. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know why they fill me up really quickly.
Well,
They're real
pretty-
nutrient dense.
Yeah, they're very dense. So it fills me up really quickly.
And just keep going. If you got that open eating window of 4 hours, if you get 2 hours at the beginning and 2 hours, or 2 hours, 2 ounces at the beginning and 2 ounces in the later of the window, that's 4 ounces. That's 4 ounces of sardines. There's a lot of nutrition in 4 ounces of sardines. So take that as a win and just keep going. Keep one step at a time.
One thing to be mindful of too, Linda, you're only eating so many ounces of food in your eating window. I'm going to say that each bite you take, you have to be more conscious of what kind of bite it is. Me, I could put down a 22-ounce steak and it's not a problem. I have more chances to get more of the nutrients that I need. My fat content can be a little bit different per bite. Yours needs to be higher per bite than mine. Do you know what I'm saying? With only eating a small portion, each bite you take has to be intense on what you need in your body. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's something to be mindful later, and, maybe even a little bit right now, but more mindful later as you get down in this journey and your body gets more refined, because it's going to be looking for that fuel, that bite, and you're going to have to put it there, because, with that small of amount, you're not going to get it by happenstance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why she has such a hard time
With getting
up on the fat. The
Right.
carbs, no problem. There were a couple days, no carbs at all, but the fat was low.
Yep.
My fat was real low. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. That's going to be your goal, is to get as much fat as many fat grams per bite as you can handle. I mean, it's going to change as your journey progresses. You're going to be able to only handle so much at this point, but maybe later down the line, you may have to look at raising that fat up per bite.
But for right now, you want to work on the protein. You want to work on the sardines.
Yes.
So you need that nutrition. That's where the nutrition is for you right now.
So could I add butter to them?
You could, but I don't want so much butter that it's dropping. If you're only getting 3 to 4 ounces of sardines in you, those are first priority.
Yeah, I would say that's first priority. This is for later.
When you got to get that protein in you for the nutrition, then the fats would follow. So make sure, with you getting such a minimal amount,
the sardines have more benefit right now for you.
Okay.
You need the nutrition. Fats will be coming,
but I'm worried about Rob because he's so thin, and he's losing weight. And
Yeah, I lost 5 pounds from last week, and I started tracking now on. I figured this is like the first real full day of our sardine challenge, so I put it into Chronometer. I put my current weight and my target weight. I want to raise up, about 8 pounds.
10 pounds.
And so
15
it
pounds.
said my percent of fat on my body at this point is like 5%. There's like a big warning, And so
no, I don't know, because I've never seen that warning. So yeah, I'll take
I've eaten. I just downed a can of sardines before I came up here. I just sat down and just ate them down. But before that, at noontime, I had 3 ounces of sardines and 3 ounces of mackerel, just trying to build it up. But before I had the can of sardines tonight, I looked at my targets, and I was only at 14% fat, but 77% protein. And I didn't add in this last can of sardines.
Okay, so you need to up it to hit that. You need to get those proteins in you and those fats in you to keep your weight to maintain at least.
Okay, now, in order for me to gain back that weight, can I do a protein drink if it's low in carbs?
No. Add more. If you want to eat another can of sardines, eat a can of sardines. Do not do protein shakes. They go straight into the bloodstream.
Good protein, man.
Get a real protein in you, not a shake. Anything broken down that small is not going to build health. It's going to raise glucose is all it's going to do. We don't want to just raise your glucose and put inflammation back on you. We want to build muscle. We want to keep you leaned out, but we want to build muscle and keep your weight on you. So
just more protein.
Yep. More protein, more fat, especially if you're only at those percentages, you aren't even close to what your targets are. So get them in you. If you need, add another can at the beginning of your window, another can at the end of your window, get those fats up.
And then on my eating days, woohoo!
Right? And I would say that, make sure you're hitting that fat macro as well, because, you don't want your body searching for fat, it sounds like, and it's taking what you have. You need to put it in there so it uses that fuel, not your fuel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, to where I wasn't concerned about it until I weighed myself and then, started doing the Chronometer. All last week I was busy. I had to paint my shutters on the second story. So I was up and down a 32-foot ladder 12 times, went down to church and buffed out some carpets. What else did I do? Just, my energy level's still up.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really concerned,
And
but I am now.
That's your body using what you have in storage. Even though you might not have a whole lot, it's going to use up it all.
So use up, you want to be putting that fat back in. So
put that fuel back in.
Refuel. But you want the protein too. So get the proteins in you so you're not losing muscle mass. We don't want your body deteriorating.
That's what I was concerned about.
Yep.
So keep the protein up, keep the fats up, and use chronometer. I mean, meet your goals on your chronometer.
Yeah. And I figured, today was a good day to start tracking, just like a clean, fresh start.
And especially if you have your chronometer set to add poundage instead of
It'll-
lose weight,
Yes, I do.
It will add it. You hit the macros, it will add it.
So you'll
Yeah.
get there. You will.
So I'll get there. And one other question, like during the sardine challenge, is it okay if I have apple cider vinegar in my water?
Splitting hairs. They say not to take it during a fast. Some people say it doesn't break a fast. Other people, you got to take the win if you can. If you need it, take it. If you don't, if you're trying to do a clean fast, do without.
Okay.
You got to make that call.
I do drink it, when I eat the sardines. So
Again, the only thing I would say when you get clean,
I wash it down.
when you do your clean fast, knock it all off. So
Okay.
you're good on a clean fast. So you get there, but you'll get there. Don't worry about it. No stressing. You're doing too good. Good job.
Okay.
Good job, guys.
Tammy, got another Tammy. Come on in. You want to check it?
I know, it's kind of fun to have two Tammys.
Right?
I don't really
You can never
know
find anybody
any
that spells
other
us the
Tammys.
same. What's that?
I don't know any other Tammys.
Right? Now you do. Look at us. We're soul sisters from the start.
That's right. So I did the sardine challenge last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Nice.
I know, so surprising that I could eat the sardines. Or did I start? Maybe I started on Monday, because I think I had eaten some sardines when we met last
Right
week.
before. Yep.
Yeah, because I was like, I couldn't believe that they were okay. Didn't expect that.
Yep.
I was trying to do the sardine challenge, but I wasn't 100% on it. But for me, it was a huge victory just that I was able to mostly eat nothing but sardines. So I feel like it was a good place to start.
Yep.
You know,
And that's a
coming
huge
in-
mindset, though. That's really
Yeah.
teaching you a lot on what you can do and you can't do. Now you know it's always a tool you can use. When that glucose starts creeping up, even veterans down the road, when that glucose starts creeping up, go to sardines for a couple days. You'll burn that glucose up. You'll get it right back. So it's a great tool. Good job.
Yeah, so that was good. And just had a lot of personal stress, like huge, got a headache, that kind of thing. Doesn't have anything to do with eating, but I guess it's probably good to be on top of eating when those kind of things happen, so that
Yep.
Absolutely. Because when those stressors hit, and we just talked about this morning in class, when those kind of things hit, when a season of life hits you, when stuff happens that you just can't control, you think it's no big deal. But when you see what it does to your morning cortisol and your morning glucose levels, you will see exactly.
I haven't tested my blood sugar today, but I'm thinking it's probably like my head feels like it's exploding. And, it's like stuff that's completely out of my control. And it's actually not even my life. I'm like a women's minister at my church, and I've been helping this woman who is homeless, got her housed, and she just got evicted because people she was letting into the building sold drugs or something. And it's like, none of that even, it's just that it's been like the focus of my life for 6 months, and she just flushed it down the toilet.
Oh, we can so relate to that. We have a family in our church that we took the same thing, took her kids in, sent her to rehab, got her in a house. Our church put her in a house, everything. And it is that same, it's that heart-wrenching cortisol. You are so vested in someone else. And I think that's part of when we start caring about everybody else more than we're caring about our own health. And be mindful of those stressors. Be mindful that it is wearing you down, helping someone else. We all need to help each other, but not at the cost of our own health. And that's a hard lesson to learn. And I mean, we can tell you horror stories with that. It's almost exactly what you're saying. I mean, we brought these kids into our home and we thought, we love kids. We could just love our way through it. We'll love on these kids, give them a good Christmas, have fun with them. It'll be great. No. Wow, did we get our lesson learned? I mean, it's just, and you're heartbroken. We kind of, we try to joke about it to not cry because you love them. You try so hard to help. Point in that is the stress that it brings to you. And that doesn't matter if that comes from trying to do a job, trying to reach out and help somebody else, to try whatever you're trying to do that is hindering your health then you really have to evaluate, what is it worth to you? Is helping somebody to that level and that degree? Not that you don't help people, but you've got to learn, I guess that's boundaries that most of us are horrible at. Putting those boundaries up, that you don't let it deteriorate your health.
Yeah.
And you got to build you first. You really do. And we're all saying that and all learning it, but it's a good reminder. Just remind everybody, take care of you, Tammy. Don't let everybody else bring you down. It is just cortisol and stress, but it takes its toll on you and your health. So.
Yeah. So otherwise, I'll probably try and do either a faster starting challenge, maybe later in the week when I get through the immediacy of this problem that I'm dealing with. And then, because I feel like it would be foolish to try and stress my body that way when I'm already under a lot of stress.
Sometimes you just got to hold space, like Wayne said earlier, tread water and get through it. And then you can push again when you're ready.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean jump off the rails, doesn't mean go eat a birthday cake, doesn't mean any of that. It just means literally hold space.
Yeah.
And we'll be praying for you and your family that you're helping. So good for you for helping.
Thank you.
It's not an easy thing to do. I know.
Well, and it's very overwhelming. I'm sure I can see that a lot of people in this group are really involved in their churches and helping people. And so I feel so at home with all of you after 3 weeks. I just feel like there is a connection, a soul sister connection here. But I just see, like, if you can't help someone when you're there with them every step of the way, how does anybody ever get helped?
It's hard to take it in. It's hard. And I think the other thing that's really hard to swallow is you're so used to helping people and you want to from the goodness of your heart. But there's a difference of how much that help is appreciated by somebody that's broken. Right. When you're somebody, I remember the people that helped me clear back at 17 years old when I got pregnant with a baby on my hip. Every one of those people to this day are the ones that feed my soul. My heart will always forever be grateful and connected to them. It's a different mindset nowadays. It's almost like an entitlement or something. It's not a graciousness that, oh my gosh, thank you.
Well, I just feel like this lady is just mentally incapacitated and nothing can fix her. So no social program, no, housing, nothing can fix her. And that's
where, again, anybody, if you haven't taken the brains course, when you learn what alcohol does to the brain, what medications do to the brain, what drugs do to the brain, what no sleep does to the brain, when you hear all of those things, the best place for the whole brains course would be in an addiction facility, because it is literally, it doesn't matter if that addiction is sugar and carbs, sex, drugs, or rock and roll. It is that same concept in the brain. And when you learn the stupid little baby steps that you can do one at a time to apply to heal the brain, I keep saying it's the biggest reason I love teaching it. It's not, it's neat information, but once you hear it, it's learning to apply it every day, every week, every whatever. What can I do? Because my brain, I was on the Oxycontin for 18 years. It's equivalent of being on heroin for 18 years. And it's like, that's maddening. But when I look back at how much you have to do the brain work consistently and repair, that girl you're trying to help, if you could get a hold of her and get her into the brains work, she could fix that brain. She could repair it, but she's got to break the addiction they got to get that addiction. It's just heart-wrenching to watch, but there is hope. So don't give up hope on it, because there is hope for your brain, her brain, an addict's brain. It's just getting there.
I'd like to add something there too. Tammy?
Yeah.
Yesterday, the one thing that stuck out in our pastor's message was, you plant a seed in somebody. Let's say you share your testimony with them.
Or like, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, I share my testimony with somebody. It is not my responsibility that they receive it and act on it. I did what I was supposed to. And so, just don't beat yourself up. Yeah. You can only do so much. I know it's heart-wrenching because you have put a lot of time and effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good point, because they have to receive it as well.
Yeah.
And
yes,
if they don't receive it, then it's not your fault.
Yes.
I guess that you're so right. Be obedient in what you feel called to do.
If you the next person, don't let this person affect the next person, because that next person may be this far away to getting gratitude and joy and everything out of what you do.
Yeah. Yes.
can't get cold in it, but
Yep.
So,
nice work, Tammy. We'll be praying for you and your family. that you're
Thank
helping.
you.
Good for you. Is there any questions we can help you with going forward this week?
I don't think so.
Okay, keep checking.
Hang in there.
Yes, hang in, and
Thank
we're
you.
here if you need us. Philip, are you there? Do you want to come check in?
I'm here.
Hello, come tell everybody how you're doing.
Well, there was a time in my, excuse me. I don't know. There was a time in my life when I was assistant chaplain at the Worcester County Jail in Massachusetts,
wow.
where we lived. And I got to know a young man that was in jail because of drugs and stealing money and so forth. I got to know that young man over a year, and he finally got out, and we got him a job at the church and all that. And he ended up back in jail again. And I used to go there on Wednesday nights because we had a Bible study there. And I'd talk to him, I got to know him pretty well. And I asked him when I kept back in jail again, because I knew he was without drugs for a year, he was in jail, right? I asked him, I said, how long was it before you tried drugs when you got out of jail? He says, I did them that afternoon.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine?
No, doing
It
all that
was
work
just
for a year,
crushing
going
to me.
through the
It was just
withdrawal.
crushing.
Yeah.
And it was just terrible. But, we kept talking to him, for years after that. And now he's got a job and he's doing okay. But back then he just wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like they gotta
Unfortunately-
want it. They gotta want to be different. They gotta, and I guess, where we dig in and find our why, they gotta do the
Yeah.
same thing. And addiction's hard. I mean, your body struggles. So those kind of things are rough. But they gotta
I feel
want to
better
do
about
it.
that today because we know, listening to Dr. Boz, we know how to improve our health. It's
Yeah.
not just losing weight. It's changing your whole health outlook.
Exactly.
It is. And weight is the minimal side effect.
That's a happy after fact.
The rest of it is
Those
building
people that
health.
are overdoing drugs like that, they can heal their brains, which will stop them from doing it.
Yeah. And I
So-
think that whole brains course, when you see the SPECT scan of a brain of an
Yeah.
alcoholic and sitting beside the SPECT scan of a diabetic, the SPECT scans look the same. A drug addict beside a diabetic, the SPECT scans are the holes in the brain.
I mean,
It
even
doesn't-
just pot smoking, you could see it in the brain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Marijuana is awful in the brain.
Yeah.
People, it fixes this and it heals this and it helps with pain. At what cost though? Here's the sad part in it. Yeah, it may help with some other areas at first, but the cost down
As
the
you
road.
know, I have Parkinson's, and one of the things for Parkinson's is to smoke pot.
Yep.
My doctor keeps telling me that, but I said, I don't want to smoke pot. There's
Fry your-
other
yep.
places. And my other way is keto.
Yep. Ketones in the brain, you're not frying brain cells, you're building your brain, you're growing your brain, you're healing your brain. Put ketones in circulation, not marijuana.
Pucker up is my friend.
right?
Pucker up's your friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But I think there's something to be said in that, when you go through cancer, it's the same thing everybody says, oh, here's marijuana. It's like my brain is having a hard enough time on the medications they're putting in my body. I can't imagine adding pot on top of it. I mean, there's so much in there. And yes, it can help with anxiety and help for now. But what it's doing in the long run is going to make the anxiety, depression, everything worse. So it's just, you really got to look at the science and do the brain work, because you can't help one area to kill a permanent fixture in your body. Yeah.
I learned a lot in that brains course. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it for anyone that hasn't gone. Go do it because it's worth it.
Yep. I will be doing our first class, I think, as of right now, is going to be October 18th. And like I said, any of my coaching people, anybody in my group here, let me know and I'll give you the coupon to save $750 off. If you're cancer survivors, text me and I'll give you a special coupon, even more. So we're going to do it as much as we can, get everybody going so we can all be working on our brains at one time so we can do it. Okay, who we got left? Susan, are you there? Or Helen, who else we got?
Was Helen's iPhone me?
Maybe.
I mean, I even turned my phone off, either figuring there's another Helen.
It might be. We'll find out. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. Come on in, Susan. Check in. Tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing okay. I tell myself I'm going to do the sardines and then I just can't face the can.
Just can't do it, can you?
Not yet. I have done it, so I know it's possible, and I know I don't even hate them. But it's just, one of
It's a
those.
mindset.
Yeah.
So are you doing
I
a regular
realize I'm sorry.
Are you doing a regular fast or anything, or what are you doing?
No, I haven't done that. I mean, I've been okay in ketosis and stuff, not losing weight, and I'm realizing it's probably because I eat too much fat.
You hit that point, you want to back up a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. So that's my realization for the week.
And if you're fat adapted, that's when you can pull that fat back a little bit and let your body start burning your fat. So there's a fine line there, that chemistry shift. You got to make sure you get it right. Make sure the fat is getting unlocked out of that cell and everything. Then that transition can start to happen. So good job.
Yeah, I probably have to do a little fast because my ketones are dropping, but when I fast, they go right back up. So,
And again, learning to use it as a tool, when your numbers are getting yucky, that you kind of need to do a little bit of jump start. A quick fast will throw you right back into where you need to be. So use it as a tool that you need to. Opening a can of sardines is a victory.
Yep, a stack of them, but
right. Oh, just get a bite in you, just a bite. Or try the mackerel. I'm telling you, I think it's night and day difference on the mackerel. I really do. And my body struggles the whole way. Mackerel, I still got good numbers. So I take that as a total win because they don't smell half as bad as.
And there's only a gram less of protein and a gram less of the fat in the mackerel.
So I can make up that easy. Much easier than swallowing the sardines. But any questions? Anything I can help you with, Susan, this week?
I don't think so. You were saying something about the minerals, and I probably need to bump that up a little bit, like potassium, magnesium, like that.
Yep. Get them in you. Especially if you're trying to push forward at the next level, you're going to be peeing out that inflammation and it's going to get you jump started again. So make sure that water and minerals stay up. Electrolytes are important. So
anytime you feel that fuzziness or that kind of goofy feeling, you know what I mean? When you fast too long, you start to get on the edge of dehydration where you feel that coming on. Go out and reach out for your elements. Go out and reach out for your salt right away. Your good salt. We use the Redmond salt. We grab that right away when we start to feel like that, and usually that picks that's what it is. We're getting low on those mineral, and that helps. That you can feel it pick you back up. That way, it's not something else.
And that's why, again, we keep the rocks laying around like geodes for decoration or something. We keep our rocks around and just. It'll make something pass. Or Charlie horses. Anybody's getting Charlie horses or anything going on. Those salt rocks, I swear by them. I'll take it to bed with me and it lays on the nightstand because inevitably, if I'm going to get it, it's going to be in my feet in the middle of the night.
And that's where I notice it being on my feet so much all day, every day. If I start just a hint of a cramp or a Charlie horse or anything like that, I know that I need to put more salt in my water during the day. So the more I get that salt in me, the less cramps I have. It really does work.
Hang in there, Susan. Keep that up. Go ahead, Philip. What?
I keep my rock and this little white cap right on my desk.
Yep. Mine sits right here too. Yep. You got to stay prepped and ready.
It works. I'm telling you, it works.
It does. All right, Helen, come on in, jump in, come and tell everybody how good you're doing. Helen's in the 21-day course right now too, so she's killing it.
This is a different Helen.
Yes, it was a different Helen.
I'll turn my phone back on.
Don't confuse us. She's trying.
Sure.
Hey, go up and
hang on.
Ask her to mute. Unmute. There we go.
There we go.
That should bump it up.
Thank
There
you. I couldn't find the button.
There you go.
Welcome, Helen.
Welcome.
I'm hungry.
Me too.
I've been fasting since Saturday night. So I'm at close to 48 hours now.
Nice.
But I just got myself a glass of hot water and put some lemon in it. So And I've been staying busy. That's why you didn't see me, because I've been cleaning the house.
Use those ketones, baby, for all they're worth. Good job.
Don't
Yeah.
forget too.
Yeah. Put, if you're doing that hot water, anybody that's doing that, put the hot water in, put that, put a good pinch of salt in it, a little pinch of garlic, whatever, lemon, whatever you want to do, but just sip on that hot water and get that salt and stuff in you. Good job, Helen. Any questions or anything for this week?
I want to share in class, part of my why was being a good example. And my husband is overweight. It's funny, when we were married, he was a beanpole and I was very heavy. And now we're approaching the opposite. I'm slimming down and he's really struggling with his weight. But his dad had heart attacks. And so he's had a calcium scan that was not good. And he's struggling with high cholesterol. And he's been taking statins. And this weekend, so part of my why was to be a good example. And this weekend, he was doing a lot of research online about statins. And he kind of came back with a conclusion of, I don't want to be taking these. And he started saying, you've been a good example. And I think maybe I can do this. So
there you go. You planted a seed.
Yes.
Yeah. And he doesn't even know that was part of my why. So I have to tell him. But yeah, I mean, he's the one who found drboz in the first place. And he's been learning, but he keeps saying, I can't do that. He struggles with a lot of pain and he has sleep issues, and he's not finding good ways to get around that. And he's also been struggling with memory problems, and he's beginning to realize that maybe it's the statins that are causing that as well. So he really,
in the brain too, the glucose.
yeah. So I mean, he's been trying to eat keto, but he's not really. I mean, and I've told him, if you want to do it right, you got to get under 20. And he knows it, but he's still not doing it. So, but I have to say it's probably a lot easier for me. I mean, his work is very stressful. He's been under a lot of stress. So the stress of that too doesn't help. So, but anyway.
One thing that kind of helped, I know when I was first trying to get Lance on board too, is carnivore seemed to be, if you put a label on it or something like that, but the meat thing seems to I'm going to feed you like a king.
I like
when you sit down and, it's like, it's like, I will never ask you to go to work hungry. I will never ask you to walk around being hungry.
Well, wait a minute.
Well,
because we are fasting.
Right. At the beginning, I'm saying, the promise was eat like a king.
Yes.
And if it took a 2-pound ribeye to make him happy and full, I'd rather see him eat the ribeye than a little piece of something, and a bowl of mashed potatoes and 15 other things. Fill him up, feed him like a king, and make him feel that way, and applaud him for that, and get him joined. It's like, you know what? You don't need to be hungry. This doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be confusing. Instead of juggling a bunch of numbers, find the biggest damn ribeye you can get your hands on and feed him and let him feel good about it and realize, hey, I can do this. I don't know.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he knows that, and he does make good choices at times. And he made a ribeye last week, actually 2 of them, thinking he was going to eat both, and he only ate 1. But, but I'm trying to convince him that he really needs to be checking his numbers, and he's afraid of that little needle. So,
I hate the needle. It hurts to me, but she makes fun of me all the time. And I hate it. I jump like a little baby. I do. It sucks.
He yips like a little girl. It's hilarious.
But you got to know where you're at. And he sounds like he's on the verge. He's right on the edge, and he needs something that's going to stick with him to make him go, yes, I will do this. And I mean, he's going to have to
figure out his why.
Exactly. And he's going to have to hurt enough, or be scared enough of the statins, or be in a position to say, yes, I can give this stuff up because I'm tired of feeling this way. And, you know, there's a bunch of guys on here that have done it. And I know, you know, Wayne's a good example. Rob's a good example. Kevin was a great example. In our class, he's not here tonight, but there's a lot of men that can do this, and it's different than what you think. But he's more than welcome to jump in at any time. Jump on here if he needs a little, you know, a big bear hug or whatever. We got it. And you know, we're just that kind of group. So
Helen, another thing that might really spark his interest too. I'm telling you, the whole reason I did this was the pain. The pain control. I took Oxycontin every day, 24 hours a day. Was the only way my feet could even touch the floor. And then I would take a Dilaudid for the breakthrough pain for him to even last longer than a few minutes on the floor. When you do this, you know, I got to find that video of Boz's where she explains the value of ketones in circulation. So if, you know, she's talking an anti-inflammatory and pain, you know, if an Advil has a $5 or a $1 value, you know, a steroid prescription has like a $5 value, a ketone in circulation has like a $20 value.
Wow.
And that was mind-boggling to me. And I can tell you to this day, I still can tell you if I'm not even off the rails. So when I say off the rails, that means we've opened up our eating window, or I've ate 2 times or 3 times, or the kids came over or something like that. It never means, very seldom do we ever jump the rails. I can tell where my pain is different on just a day of getting close. That's why 10 carbs is my goal, just because if I get close to 20, it's going to start again. And that pain, that neuropathy pain in my feet, it's crazy how it still comes and goes. It's not gone, but I'm telling you, I can deal with it now without the Oxycontin. And it helps so much for the pain and your joint pain, you know, just the arthritis and the stuff that hurt.
I mean, I worked construction for 25 years in my early life, and I beat my body to death. I mean, I abused my body, and my joints hurt all the time, every day, all day, didn't matter, until I got on this. And when I got that inflammation out of my joints, it was like I was a new man. I mean, it
that pain
really
goes.
You don't realize it, but I run down the steps. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just ran down the steps. That didn't hurt. And I ran back up the steps and like, wait a minute, that didn't hurt either. And you get to that point of, oh, this is why, you know, my joints aren't all bound up.
It is just neat as that pain starts to go away and you realize one step at a time, you get your life back.
Yep.
So,
but it's a choice that he's going to have to make. And I hope he makes it.
Yeah.
Gotta get tired.
He's had 4 cervical spine surgeries.
Oh.
And it still hasn't like fixed him. So,
Yeah.
but he has figured out, I mean, there are times when he has a lot less pain. So, but I would love to share that video with him. He's a YouTube addict, and
I'll
I
try to
send
find
him.
it. I'll post it in the group if I find it.
Hey,
Okay.
we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
This group's on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Time, get
Yeah.
on and watch. Get on and catch. Any other questions for
Thank
tonight?
you.
You're welcome, Helen.
Nice to meet you, Helen.
Yes, and tell him to come to
Thank
class.
you.
Come on in with us.
Hey, Helen.
All right. Hi, Helen. Nice to meet you.
We got 2 Tammys, 2 Helens. We're doing good.
There aren't a lot of Helens out there, so.
Figured out. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions over there?
No,
Everybody
ma'am.
quiet over there?
Everybody's quiet over there.
All right. Again, class for my coaching people will be tomorrow night at 7:30. Anybody wanting in the brains, the code is JTK 750 to save $750. If you need help getting in or have any trouble on our website, we're trying to learn how to do this talking thing with Boz's website. So please get on, reach out to me, and I can help you through it. If you're having any trouble and you want in, just let me know. I really, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be good for our brains to get us all going again. So everybody have a great week. You'll see some of you tomorrow night and some of you tomorrow morning in class. So we love you.